Hey, what's up, tubers? This is the SHTF Hunter. I wanted to do a after-action report about my hunting trip down to Clark Range, Tennessee this past weekend. Let you know kind of what went on. One thing I failed to include about the Clark Range, Tennessee, the hunting lodge. There's actually about, I think, 800 acres maybe for the pigs to roam on. So like these pigs are wild. There's plenty of space for them to run. If they see you, they will run. And anyway, so with that out of the way, so we arrived on Thursday evening, and the guy he's like, y'all want to go night hunt? And we're like, sure, that's what we're here for, go night hunt. And I did. So I intended to try to take a peek with the 50 Beowulf, but when it comes to night hunting, for some reason I just decided to take this bad boy right here, the 7.62x39 with the ATN Thor LT thermal scope. And the first night I was hunting out of a blind with another guy and one of my other buddies, and I took the Chinese night vision device with me, and inside a blind, a monocular, a little monocular or night vision binocular is a whole lot easier to wave around than a rifle with a scope on it. So I found myself using that a lot instead of using this. I did leave the scope on the whole time, and for like 2 hours of continuous use, 2 hours will drain the scope by probably about half of the battery energy, probably. And while we were, we didn't see nothing the first night. We had green lights on our stand too. Two of our other hunters, they had some action in what they call the Miller field, and I heard a gun go off, and it was most like the guy with the muzzle loader. And sure enough, the guy with the muzzle loader had shot one. Then I heard like 3 pistol shots, and I don't know where he hit it exactly, but they ended up having to finish it off. Fired a couple shots of pistol, and I think the hunting guide actually stabbed it in the heart with a knife or something to get it to die, but whatever. So anyway, that was the first night, and they got killed one muzzleloader. The second day, we started off baying them with dogs. I think we ended up baying 4 different pigs, and most of them all kind of small. And one of our guys had a 500 Smith & Wesson, and he really wanted to use that 500 Smith & Wesson. He used it on one of them smaller pigs, and I got a little bit of video footage, and I'm probably gonna make a video with different clips in it. And if this video will probably be subscribers only, will be able to view it because of the graphic nature and the violence done to pigs. Because I feel like most of my subscribers, I posted videos about pig hunting before, and people don't. Some people are just like, you shouldn't do that. You should do that. These dogs, that's so mean, violent. Whatever. I don't care, but so be on the watch for that video as soon as I clip some stuff together. And okay, so yeah, we bayed some hogs. One guy, and I got a video clip of it. He had to wait for dogs to move. He fired one shot and killed this hog, in between all these dogs, and did not hit the dogs, luckily. And so that was that. Then later at night, we went out and did another night hunt, and let's see. So 2 people had killed. We had 3 more people that wanted to kill hogs. So 3 of us were going out at night. 2 people were going to Miller Field, which, like I say, had the green light. They didn't have thermals or night vision devices, and I wanted to go. There's this other spot that I'd had some action at before, like the 2 year ago when I went up there to hunt. I wanted to go up there. There was like two different tree stands and a blind, and it's kind of a pretty open area. They've been working on opening it up, so you could probably see 75 to 100 yard shots up there probably. And so I didn't use the green light. They had a green light, but I didn't use it on the stand because I took my old ATN Thor. One thing I did have to do, this is a really old, your basic AR-15 doesn't have a lot of sling mounting options. And what I done is just tie a rope right here so I could clip in my single point sling because I was going to climb up in that tree stand. Here's the ATN and some of the controls on it. Up in the tree stand, I turned on this and let it run continuous. And I just used my thermal scope to scan. When I got there early on, I seen a heat signature to my left. Never could tell what it was exactly, and I sit there and it was after about an hour and a half or something, or two. It was almost 2 hours, I think. I can't remember. Of sitting there in the dark. So I heard the brush. I heard the leaves rattling back behind me. I could hear them grunting. So I knew it was pigs coming in to my stand. And so I was getting pretty excited. It was probably 10 to 15 or so came in. And I put my scope on. I was sitting there watching. I was using the Black Hawk feature. And with Black Hawk, the pigs just look like black silhouettes. You can't. I mean, this scope, it doesn't have a lot of the bells and whistles that a more expensive scope has. I hadn't used a lot of thermals or, this is the only one I've ever owned. But it doesn't Bluetooth to your phone, so you can't make videos with it. And I had no video footage of me shooting this pig. But so a bunch of pigs come into a bait pile. And just like a minute later, what I thought was a bigger pig was coming in, and I probably should have took a shot at it, but before he got to the other pigs, because when they all got mixed together, you couldn't. It was hard with the heat signature. You couldn't tell nothing hardly. It was hard to tell which pig was which, or all you seen was a big black blob, and the. So I was sitting there and trying to decide what I was going to do, and it was hard to tell which pig was bigger. Just by looking at silhouettes, it was kind of hard to tell which was bigger pigs and which were smaller ones. And so somebody started shooting, and it wasn't at Clark Range. It was one of the neighboring property. Back behind Clark Range or something. They fired it sounded like a handgun. It was like boom, 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 as fast as you could pull the trigger or something. And when they done that, the hogs started to scatter a little bit. So, they started to scatter, and I started looking at, the pigs, trying to figure out which one's the biggest one. And I see one I thought might have been a little bit bigger than the rest. I picked it out. And I could see the head, silhouette of the head kind of, and it must have turned around and looked back in my direction or something, because of where the head was, it just turned into a kind of oval shape body or whatever. All I could see was the body and not the head. And I aimed, it was pointing that way, the head was, so I aimed right behind what I thought was the front shoulder or something like that. And I squeezed off around, and once I shot, they all took off, and I got down there looking for blood, couldn't find no blood, and I didn't really know where it was standing. It's when I shot, but it's hard to, in the nighttime, it's hard to see where something's standing, I guess, unless you're actually using a light or something. But the guide, he came up there and he found blood, and it was good blood, pretty good blood. And me and him started tracking it, and he went back to get a flashlight, and I continued to track it. We come to one place where a lot of times a wounded animal, if an animal's wounded pretty bad, they run straight through briars. They run through anything. It doesn't matter. An unwounded animal just about always use a trail. Well, I seen blood. Like, we come to one point where the blood looked like it stopped, but I got to looking, and it was going straight through the brush or briars and stuff like that. So I continued and found a hog laying dead. Looks like I got a good lung shot, but one shot from a 7.62 with 3.9 put that hog down. It may even be a lucky shot. Typically I like to shoot a pig in the neck or head. But so while me and the guide was doing all that, we heard 2 more shots fired in succession from the Miller field. And my brother-in-law and another one of our buddies was down there in that blind, and my brother-in-law had dropped a good-sized hog. The other guy missed, we think, or we found just a couple drops of blood, like he might have, I don't know if he just grazed it or what. He was using a 300 Win Mag, so he should have killed it if it had anywhere decent of a shot. So, anyway, so we got 2 hogs that night, which would have been Friday night. And Saturday morning, the guy who missed went back out Saturday morning to the Miller field to the blind. He sat there for about 2 hours, didn't see nothing. Me and a couple of other guys actually decided to ride Rural King, see if we could find. I wanted to get some more ammo to plink at their pistol target. And so while we were gone, we thought they'd be dog hunting, but we were only gone about 2 hours, and the time we got back, they still wasn't dog hunting. They started once we got back. There was six other people in my hunting party, and the guide, and so we all went out dog hunting to try to get our last guy to get his hog. One guy wasn't trying to kill a hog. He was just there on vacation, but he'd go out with us and everything. But so they released some dogs, and we actually bayed 2 pigs at one time. And when that happens and you have as many people as we had, you probably should have split it into 2 groups and go see which hog was bigger. We all went toward this one hog, and our last guy that wanted to shoot one, he chose to go ahead and shoot this hog, and he did. He got it with a big 300 Win Mag. But so that was our trip. We killed, 5 of our people went to kill hogs, and 5 of us killed them. And Saturday evening it was supposed to rain, be real nasty. So that we never went out Saturday night. I brought this gun mostly, just in case we went coyote hunting or something like that. But I ended up taking a hog down in a hog with it. So, and this gun, this is like a $200 upper receiver from Bear Creek Arsenal. The lower is really old, and this is actually I don't know if they still make them. This is a commercial commercial buffer tube and commercial stock, not the mil spec. So I don't know if I got any as far as mounting any different stocks on here. I don't know if I doubt I can. I may just have to change the buffer tube out. I want to use a standard stock. But anyway, I meant for this gun to be the most basic truck gun ever. And I will be taking the scope off, and this will be going to my service as a truck gun soon. Anyway, this is the SHTF Hunter. Be watching out for that video. I'm out.